lot of information at a glance. We actually just updated the links page in general, so you can scroll through and see right at the highest level the engagements that you're getting link by link. As you click into one, we'll show all of the engagements for your short links and your QR codes, all on the same page. It's total engagements. And then we also have a graph that breaks them down where you can click in. And in this, I should clarify, that also shows link or clicks on link in bio links. So if your short link is a button on a link in bio, you can tease that out as well. And you can start to compare where are you getting the most traction with this same content. Very quickly, the at a glance information that we have in there, it's total scans and clicks, engagements in the last 7 days, week over week change. That's one that we just added in there, which is, I love seeing it on our own resources. Then you've got devices, regions. One thing to clarify, particularly with location data, and I believe with devices as well, there are some variations in what you can see based on your plan. But all of this allows you to not just share those links, but track them to see what's performing best and using data to figure out why. If you are somebody who wants to do really advanced data analysis, we can also, or you can export all of this information for one link, for a selection of links, for all of your links together. It'll export as a CSV file, and then you can put it into Google Sheets or Excel, numbers, whatever you use, and start to do some really fancy data analysis on it. And this is an area also I want to stress where we're always working to improve the analytics in here. So there's some really cool stuff coming over the next few months where it's going to, it's not changing, we're giving more insights, more ways to customize the data that you're looking at. So stay tuned for that. Super exciting.
Wow. I'm very curious. I can't wait. So we might see even more analytics than what we're even seeing on this. And this doesn't even include our QR codes. Joanna, why don't you talk to us a little bit about kind of measuring engagement over time, how we think about looking at campaign performance and some of the things that you advise your customers to do?
Of course. And I think just first off, building off what Alex was mentioning, I think the awesome thing about our tool is wherever you are, whether it's the link page, the QR code portion, the dashboard, you're able to pull metrics in those CSV files right then and there. But something I did want to highlight specifically that a lot of my customers use is the campaign portion of the platform. That's where you could really have an apples to apples comparison, how one link is performing across multiple different channels. I see this a lot when it comes to sales reps specifically. The client, they're able to track who's performing at the highest and maybe some of the stragglers. They're able to modify their plans and adjust, and it provides a very accurate representation of just measurement and engagement over time. This happens with influencers as well when they're promoting products or specific content. Highly recommend using the campaign tool. And I know, again, a lot of people are kind of mentioning folders. So you can have multiple different campaigns. You can kind of section out those folders as well. And overall, if you are a paid customer, so enterprise, developer, or company, you're able to pull up to 2 years of rolling data in 90-day increments. And as mentioned on the first slide, I always recommend looking at the dashboard because it provides a lot of really interesting information in terms of what's happening within that day. And you can even modify it to see what's happening within that week. And then the last thing I wanted to say was if you are a paid customer, I highly recommend you reach out to your CSM to see if you need any further assistance with analytics. I know for my customers, I like to pull some back-end data just on a quarter-over-quarter basis. So they can alter and make any changes to better fit their business needs and their overall marketing needs.
And Joanna, I will say it for you too. If you do have the opportunity to connect with the CSM, take them up on it. They share a lot of great insights and they're chatting with customers across a lot of different use cases. We've said it a couple of times, but context really matters for how you make the connections platform work for you. We've heard that from our customers that when they can make it specific for what they're trying to accomplish, it's super powerful. And our CSMs can help you accomplish that, as can a lot of the content that Alex creates day in and day out within the Help Center. So we've got two of the best here with us sharing. So let's make sure we take advantage of that. Alex, talk to us a little bit about how we might think about tracking outside of what we see in the dashboard. If we do want a little bit more setup around how we see how links are flowing, clicks, scans, all that kind of stuff. What are campaigns, UTMs, tags? Oh my.
Oh my. Yeah, these really are three different ways of working with your links that can integrate with any existing workflows you have going right now. So specifically thinking about marketing, like true or sort of traditional marketing campaigns, you can create a campaign in Bitly with separate channels for each channel that you're already using in your regular campaign workflows. So doing this allows you to, oh, and also I should say, it's not just for marketing too. I've learned so much from Joanna prepping on this and thinking about those like influencers or sales reps. You can create a separate channel for each one. And you get really the same thing. You're able to create a channel, shorten multiple links at once, and you get a unique link for each channel, which you can then track and compare across those channels or across those influencers, across sales reps, however you're doing it. So it's I worry that that's, it's so flexible that it can be hard to sort of get your mind across. We do have some resources on that as well, and I believe that link, I should confirm, but it looks at campaigns versus UTM parameters, what they are and how they're different. Because UTM parameters, when you create a campaign, it creates UTM parameters. So these are little tags at the end of a URL that allow you to track where people are engaging with it. Campaigns are not the only way to do this in Bitly. You can also auto add UTM parameters anytime you shorten a link. If you already have a system for adding UTM parameters, you can add those like you're doing now and shorten it. You can use it in a bulk upload, which is something else we'll talk about in just a few minutes. But the idea here is that we shorten the link with those parameters in the destination URL. So you're able to shorten the link. You still get a neat and nifty short link that's easy to share, but it does have those tracking parameters on there. Tags are a little bit different here, where it's really internal. It allows you to organize your links within your Bitly account so that you can filter by a tag and pull out that data separately, separate from the rest of the links that you might have created for other campaigns or other uses.
That's great. I love that. Speaking of other uses, we want to chat a little bit about some campaign ideas. So Joanna, you have worked with a lot of different customers and how they set up their usage of Bitly. So walk us through, based on either what's on the screen or what you've heard, some of your favorites of how you see people using Bitly to accomplish their goals.
Of course, I know I mentioned a couple throughout the presentation when it came to like influencers and sales reps, but I think specifically when it comes to SMS campaigns, sending links out to access webinars, when we're looking at scheduling any type of appointments, like whether it be like a real estate appraisal appointment, a doctor's appointment, overall event and appointment check-ins. I think we see that a lot in general. I think even myself, when I'm trying to book a reservation for a restaurant, you're always getting that SMS reminder and notification. And then I think when it comes to QR codes, these are super helpful. I know this big thing happened, COVID. So I know everywhere we go, we see QR codes for menus. I know a lot of restaurants that I go to don't even have actual physical menus anymore and do the ordering and the menu and everything through a QR code. And all of us probably are assigned to loyalty programs. I know I get a million emails, but having those QR codes right there in store at register is a great way that I see a lot of customers build their loyalty program. And I think lastly, just overall, like classes, joining webinars, joining any kind of event in general are some, I think, the bigger use cases that I see with my clients and also out in the wild.
I love it. Those are great. And you are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to all of these. So we'll make sure we share these examples with folks after the fact as part of the follow-up resources. We are coming close to the scheduled time. We will hang out for some questions after the fact. We've seen a ton come through, so we'll try to get to what we can. For those that we don't, we will follow up with folks. So your question will get answered, even if it doesn't get answered live here or you can't stick around. But we've got one more section we want to chat through in terms of scaling your efforts. So we hear from a lot of customers, great, we've created these awesome connection points. Awesome, we're getting better at tracking it. Now, how can I make this work better with my day-to-day? How can I be more efficient and effective? So we're going to jump through a few examples of how we see power users of Bitly putting that into practice. Joanna, do you want to give us the high level of how we might think about Bitly workflows?
Of course, I know Alex alluded to the CSV file. So something I wanted to mention is being able to bulk upload via the CSV file. You're also able to add those awesome UTM parameters that Alex was mentioning as well. So this will make your lives a lot easier. Second thing I want to highlight is the API. It is a very helpful tool. I recommend it on so many different levels when it comes to bulk creation. You're able to utilize it to also customize QR codes and also redirect links. Redirect, I think, is a huge thing that a lot of customers are using. And when you're frantic, you could easily adjust that. And I think those are pretty much the quick high level things that I wanted to highlight.
That's great. I saw a couple questions come through about how people can create multiple Bitly links for similar URLs, how we can add UTMs, all that stuff. Bulk upload is a great way to do that quickly. If you've got a full campaign that you're ready to launch and you need to get it all into Bitly, bulk upload feature. Joanna, you also mentioned redirects, which I think is a really important thing for us to think about. Sometimes we make a mistake to the URL. Sometimes the campaign changes. Sometimes it ends and we want to point it to a new place. So redirects are a really good thing for folks to use. Alex, how about when we are working with other folks within the tool? Talk us through how we might think about using groups and collaboration.
Yeah, groups and users are a really useful way to organize what you're doing, especially if you are an agency working with a number of different brands, or you're in-house and want to if you're an agency working with a number of different clients, or you're an in-house with multiple different brands, or even just a large organization with a number of teams, you can create a group for each one of those. I really think of us at Bitly as sort of the ultimate power users. We are working in the product ourselves day in and day out, and we have a lot of groups to help us organize this. In using users within there, that allows you to have multiple people working and doing really like getting and sharing the content that they need to, without having to go through maybe like one person who, I've worked places where we were a Bitly customer and it almost turned into this sort of like gatekeeping feel. Like that person was just so heavily bombarded with requests that it would take like a week or two to get a Bitly link. And now that I work here, I know that it does not take a week or two to create a Bitly link. It's like milliseconds. So using or having multiple users in your account, you can give them flexible permissions where maybe they only have access to one team or one group, multiple groups. They can be a group admin or even account admin. It's super flexible between those different roles.
Great. I love it. All right. Our final tip from our power users, the things that we're seeing a lot of folks use is integrating with other tools. So Joanna, why don't you give us a rundown of some of your favorites and common integrations that make campaigns and teams more effective?
Of course. I think the first thing to highlight is the extension. If you add it, it's the orange Bitly B. I use my extensions absolutely every single day. So it's very easy for you to create that short link if you're in the middle of a meeting or you need to create something ASAP. I would say from just a social standpoint, I would say Hootsuite and Sprinkler are some of the bigger integrations. And then across all of our clients, Salesforce Marketing Cloud is probably one of the biggest integrations that we see here at Bitly. But to make your lives a lot easier, there's a QR code here that will link to the Help Center where you could see a list of integrations. You could just search whatever integration you're looking for, and there'll be awesome help desk articles, most likely written by Alex, that will walk you through how to do these integrations. But if you ever have any questions about those as well, feel free to reach out to us.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. I know we're a bit over our scheduled time. We'll answer a few questions. We want to be respectful of folks' days. So if people have to hop, we understand. Let's go through a few that we've seen come into the Q&A. So Karen was wondering if they can integrate QR codes into a self-published ebook. Would like to use it to link to resources, to review page, etc. Joanna, Alex, either of you have any recommendations of how to use QR codes with that use case?
Yeah, I will hop in on this. As a person who used to work in publishing, this is a great question. I'm super into it. The short answer is that really all you have to do to integrate your QR code into the self-published book is create the QR code and then make sure it's in your design. So it depends on what you're using to lay out your book, but you can create a QR code that goes to any of those resources that you mentioned, whether it's, your author page, a review page. I would just, place that really anywhere within the book that you want it to go. That's one of the great things about QR codes. They can go in pretty much any printed collateral. They can go anywhere where somebody can scan them. You can integrate it.
Love that. It's great. Great advice. Shirley is wondering, they've inherited some old Bitly links that go to broken URLs. How can I update the links? Either of you have a recommendation there?
Yeah, so it's super easy to go in. You could plug in that short link in the actual platform itself and search it on your specific dashboard. You can quickly go in and edit that link, and or you could redirect that link. So there's a couple different ways you can go about that.
That's great. Lawrence was wondering if they upgrade to custom links, can they edit the links after they've been created?
Yes. If you, after you upgrade, you can edit anything that's in your account. There isn't a gate between you created these before you upgraded and these after. There are, I was going to say there are monthly limits around editing. There are monthly limits around some of the things that you can do in Bitly around redirects and custom backhalves. But with editing your links, yeah, there isn't any time restriction or anything on which ones you can edit.
Awesome. And that includes also the ability to then redirect to if need be. And so if you have that custom domain, you still have that capability to redirect, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Amazing. I want to come back to link in bio. We saw a lot of conversation in the chat. We had a specific question come through the Q&A tab about link in bio and what it is for maybe someone that's not technical. Again, I'll raise my hand. That's me. Link in bio is a really versatile feature within Bitly and tool. Can you all kind of explain once again kind of what link in bio is, link in bio pages, and how people might use it, a few of the different use cases?
Of course, I could step in. I'm sure Alex will have something to say as well, but just think of it as like a micro landing page. And when you go to that micro landing page, you're able to see multiple different links on one specific micro landing page. But you can make it look very pretty. You can make the colors match your branding. You can add logos to the side. So I think a prime example that I could think of is, say you're going to a conference, and at that conference you scan a QR code. It could bring you to a micro landing page where it says sessions that are happening today, event registration, places to eat, parking, maybe an FAQ page. So it's a very quick and easy page that customers can access and interact with. So in terms of examples, that's one. Maybe it's like a gym that has one for new members, company launches, product launches. There's so many different use cases. Even internally, we use it all the time here at Bitly with our employee resource groups, just adding like links and resources after we have our sessions as well.
That's great. And that's a really good kind of recommendation. Alex, anything you'd add there?
No, that was a really great way to put it. I even saw somebody reacting to the micro landing page term. It really is just a small, simple website where you can have a title, a little description, logo, some imagery, but the focus there is on, it's a way to share links. So a lot of times the reason it's called a link in bio is because it is often in a social media bio or profile section. You click on it, and then there's a handful of links, or you can have a lot of links in there going to additional resources. We use them even internally for sharing resources within the company. It's great for like HR can put links to a bunch of HR resources. IT, I've seen IT teams use it. And then also the external facing. It's really just for sharing multiple links, multiple pieces of content, all from one page.
That's great. And thank you for explaining that. That's helpful. We saw a few comments earlier in the chat where folks were wondering how they could leverage the platform. Maybe they can't make website updates frequently. Maybe they don't have like a full website. Maybe the campaign that you're launching or what you're working on is small bits of information you want to share. And so those micro landing page experiences are really great to be able to use when you don't need a full website to build, but you want to make it really easy in a, let's face it, a mobile optimized way for your customers to be able to get more information. We've got time for one more question to answer live. Like I mentioned, we'll make sure that we follow up with everybody that dropped questions into the Q&A tab. So I really appreciate everyone taking the time to do so. If we didn't get to your question, or it's a bit nuanced as people are digging into specific account questions, we'll make sure that we follow up with y'all. So I appreciate everyone submitting them. Just a clarification point around kind of how we can use links and how versatile they can be. Suzanne was wondering if we could clarify, because we may have answered the question maybe a little unclearly. Is it possible to have a different bit.ly link back half for each person that maybe you are creating bit.ly links for or are distributing or sharing using the exact same URL? So same URL that I point to on my website or elsewhere, but a bunch of different bit.ly links that I can distribute. And use cases might be sales reps, influencers, co-marketing partners in kind of the SaaS and tech space. Joanna, can you kind of clarify that answer?
Yeah, so you are able to have, that's kind of exactly on point to the campaign feature. So when you go into the campaign feature, you can add in that specific long URL or the end destination. You can add your channels and it will automatically create links that correspond to those channels. But you can go in and you can edit them so that they can be more personalized based on that rep or that influencer. So you do always have that ability.
That's great. Thank you so much. All right, folks, we've gone a bit over, but I appreciate everyone staying on and asking a bunch of questions. Joanna and Alex, thank you so much for answering so many of these and giving us some great insights. Like we've said many times, bit.ly and the connections platform is what you make it. You can use these connection points. You can look at the data. You can create micro landing pages and experiences for your audience to find out more, to take the actions that you want them to take, to surprise and delight. There's so many cool use cases. So our hope is that we continue to talk about these in more depth as part of these customer conversations. Today was a really broad, the entire experience that we wanted to cover, but we will be making sure that we go deep into each of these areas as well. So we appreciate everyone taking the time today and joining us live. We will be sharing the recording after the fact. We will be sharing the resources. So some of the slide decks, the links, resources, so people can put some of these practices into action. And we'll also make sure that we follow up with folks that have asked questions that we weren't able to touch on live. Expect to see that email hit your inbox around this time tomorrow. So that will go out. You'll be able to get all those resources, and you can always reach out to us if you have any questions. So thank you so much for everyone joining us. We hope you have a good rest of your day, a good rest of your evening. We had folks all over the world, and what a joy for all of us to chat together. So thank you for being here. Alex, Joanna, thank you so much. Hope you both get a bowl of cereal in the next day or so.